Salam guys, it's me, Propriette, and I'm back with another video and another recap. And I know there's no final look here. I apologize. I will not be doing any drag transformations this episode because I am in fact in bed sick. I've just not been feeling very well. I don't know if it's flu. I feel congested. It's just my sinuses acting up. So I'm not taking the risk to get all my makeup contaminated, but at the same time my makeup is also not with me at the moment. Either way, I'm here. I'm committed to giving you the content that I promised, and we are gonna go through it regardless of how I feel right now and regardless of the fact that it's 11 o'clock at night. I'm gonna make sure that this content is in your hands on Wednesday as promised. So without further ado, let's get started with this week's recap. Also, don't be bothered by this. I promise you it's nothing gross. It's literally just mastics. Like, mastics doesn't come out of clothes. So if you're new here, welcome to the party. It's fun to have you. Come join in. It's gonna be a fun time. How this works is that every single Wednesday I will be recapping the episode of Beaulah Queens van Kaap of the week before, just in time for the new episode which comes out every Thursday on SHOWMAX. Usually I would also be recreating one of my makeup looks of the episode and then, you know, posting that makeup tutorial on TikTok. But as you can see, that's not gonna happen today, so we can just focus on the content for today's episode. Before we start, I would really like to apologize for how long it took for last week's episode to come out. I had absolutely no idea that I was going to run into that kind of technical difficulties. Basically, my phone's memory was full, and even though I recorded all the videos, I recorded it in 4K, so the size of those videos was too big for my phone to process with the little space it had on. So I had to go through a lot of my videos and delete things and put things onto the cloud, and you know, it was just a week of hell, and all of that while I was busy. I really tried. I really tried, and thankfully it was uploaded. Alas, I've learned my lesson, and I'm going to make sure that I record these things a little bit ahead of time. This episode does give me time to, you know, kind of like catch up a little bit with the filming, and to make sure that from next week onwards we are smooth sailings and there will be no such issues going forward. Okay, I really want to thank those of you who are engaging with the content, who are commenting on my YouTube, who are sharing it. I truly appreciate it. I can see the difference in viewers. I mean, I'm not at thousands of views just yet, but you know, we all have to start somewhere. Kingsley, say hello for the people. Say hello. Say hello. Kingsley's upset with me because I didn't want to give him food, and he's had 3 packets today already. So what I'm going to do for those of you who are engaging with the content, I'm going to give you guys some shout outs here on my YouTube channel, just to thank you for, you know, keeping me going. It's kind of weird speaking to a camera for like 3 hours and then not having anyone engage with you back. It kind of makes you go loco coco. You know, every Thursday after each episode, I will be posting something on my Instagram asking you how you felt about the episode, or if you have any questions or concerns. And at the end of these episodes of the recaps, I will go ahead and reply to you if there are any questions, and you know, just give you some little shout outs just to show you a little bit of my appreciation for engaging with the content. I truly am appreciative. This is wild to me, so thank you so much for the support so far. But just because I did do this in week 1 as well, I'm just going to be posting those of you who've engaged with the content over here. Thank you guys so much for engaging with the content. I appreciate it. Please keep it coming. Let's talk, you know, let's make this dialogue, you know. Kingsley, you can't lay on my laptop. With that said, let's get straight into this recap, and we can go ahead and, you know, see what happened on this week's episode of Malmorphis. So the way I'll be doing this is I will be updating you guys on every character in the series so that you do not lose track of their storylines and what is going on in their lives. So I'm going to be doing that each week, and then we will go ahead and look at the plot and storyline and then tap into some of the drama, because you know, it's just as important. It's entertaining. Once again, note I will be using she, her pronouns just because that's the way in which we talk to one another. And once again, I will be doing each cast member in alphabetical order. Let's do it. What my Sovereign Western Cape is, it's a gay queer pageant here in Cape Town, and it's one of the biggest pageants in the entire country when it comes to LGBTQ members. I can't give you the entire history because I know there was a time period where the pageant existed before 2009, but I am well aware of everything that happened from 2009. We already touched on this in last week's episode where Miss Sovereign Western Cape changed their name about a year or 2 ago, and the pageant was formerly known as Miss Gay Western Cape. So if we just run through some of the winners of this pageant, in 2009 we have Enigma van Hamburg, 2010 we have Gilardi, 2011 we have Logan McGregor, 2012 we have Zila Naoki Zhang, 2013 we have Tashawn van Amberg. Is it van Hamburg? Tashawn van Hamburg. Tashawn van Amberg, van Hamburg. One of the two, can't remember. 2014 we have Liberty Banks. 2015 we have Camille Van Joos. 2016 we have none other than Belinda Kafasi. 2017 we have Emogan Moore. 2018 we have Wendy La Rosa. 2019 we have Maxine Wild. 2020 there was no pageant because of the COVID-19 restrictions, so Maxine technically is still reigning. I'm not sure if I'm getting the timelines correctly, but I think that is how it went so far. And then when the pageant changed its name in 2022, we had Ruby Lucas who took the title. So 2023 is the year's pageant that's taking place in the show. And who will it be? Anyway, that's just a little bit of a history from my side around Miss Sovereign Western Cape. Just so you know why this pageant is such an important big deal in our scene and in our community. First up, we have Vahlour. In this episode, we are made aware of the Miss Sovereign Pageant 2023, and Vahlour is a contender for the title. Bibi is apparently steadfast in her preparations for the pageant and is head focused on getting everything together. Bibi actually partook in the pageant the year before as well and made it to top 5 and didn't place top 3, as she was shading Madison about actually, so hello! Nevertheless, she's a contender for this title and she is very serious about competing. She's a bit concerned that she might be overthinking the process a little bit, and she feels that she has done so well so far in preparation for the pageant, and she's scared that just like one thing could mess her up along the way. And this is the reason we see her going over to Kat initially, so that Kat can offer some advice, because Kat has taken over as co-director from Mark No, who has since passed, and Barry Reed and Kat are the two people who are responsible for running this pageant. Aside from the pageant preparation that is getting Bibi a little bit flustered, we also are introduced to another character in Bibi's life, which is Didi Vahlour, who is Bibi's drag daughter. Didi Vahlour is also suspect number 1 in the entire Wiggate scenario, so this is the person Madison has accused of stealing her belongings. There was some things said at the launch party around who was suspects and who was guilty and all of that, but I don't want to get into that because I didn't really pay much attention. The champagne was getting to me. Sure, we will go over this again and again and again, alright? So what we see in essence in this episode is Bibi's relationship with one of her drag daughters, and you can see the type of support that they offer one another. Or I'm gonna be honest, this scene was a little bit weird to me. It just didn't feel like a genuine conversation. Maybe now I'm reviewing the show. I think the point of this entire scene was to say, here's my drag daughter, this is who she is, and this is how we offer one another support. So I'm glad that we got introduced to Bibi's extension and Bibi's family, because Bibi does have quite a few kids as well. Basically getting to see the start of Bibi Vahlour, the drag mother of the House of Vahlour. This is pretty much all we learn about Bibi in this episode, but we can kind of see where Bibi's mindset is at. She's really more focused on the pageant than she is with the drama around Madison and all of those things. So we're gonna move straight on to the next bitch, Emogan Moore. So in this episode, we see a little bit of emotion. In this episode, we see a little bit more of Emogan's relationship with Maxine, and you can tell that they are very good friends. Like how she called Maxine Volt. It was so cringe, but it was so cute at the same time, because, you know, Afrikaans series, you know what I mean. Kingsley, stop walking on the laptop, my angel. Can you move your tail, please? Thank you. Emogan opens up to Maxine about her father not necessarily knowing that she does drag. And Emogan says something in this episode that really warms my heart a little bit, because it speaks a lot about her character as a person. That even though she does not necessarily have a very close relationship, if you see it wiggle, if you see the camera wiggle, it's my cat. Okay, because I'm shooting on my bed. I really want to show you my setup right now, actually. Look at the setup. Isn't this ghetto? What I think is really sweet that Emogan says here is that even though she doesn't necessarily have that relationship with her father, that she can still value the fact that her father is present and alive, and she has the opportunity to build a better relationship with her father. And I think that's a very cute thing. The series is really building us up here for eventually meeting Emogan's father, and I'm so excited to see that, because I think I might cry that episode. Emogan says that she's aware not many people are able to build relationships with their fathers, and she's grateful that she does have that opportunity still, even though she knows it's going to take some time. So that's pretty much the gist of Emogan's storyline this episode, and I think it's a beautiful thing because we are building on the previous episode. I'm really keen to see the storyline develop with Emogan, and I just know I'm gonna cry. I just know. So let's move on to the next bitch. Kat Gilardi, you knew? Once again, we see the relationship that Errol and Kat has, and it's such a beautiful thing to have on my TV screen. You can see just how supportive they are of one another, and I still am shook a little bit that Madison called out Errol for being part of the old house. It's so stupid to me. I don't think Errol encourages drama in any shape or form, so I'm really still a bit shook that Madison mentioned that. Are you guys shook as well? Because those of you who know Errol, like, it's just weird. I think it's beautiful that we get an example of a gay married couple on our TVs. It's 2024, yet gay marriage and being gay and being visibly queer is still something that rubs people the wrong way. Like, we are so backwards as a society. I can't understand how gay marriage, for example, is something that is still taboo. It exists, and here we have like a very prime example of a loving gay marriage on TV. Isn't this weird? Isn't this profound? Isn't this amazing? Isn't this something we should celebrate? It's crazy for me to think of this still being a taboo subject, considering that the gay marriage has been legalized since the Civil Union Act in 2006. You know what I mean? We do not get to see things like this on TV. Even Sierra Line only had their first gay kiss not too long ago, and you know the country went berserk over that. Errol and Kat, I just want to say thank you for being an example to young queers out there that we can find love. Like, I know how I feel about marriage, for example. It's not necessarily something that I see for myself, but that is as a result of how I've experienced marriage throughout my life. Not just with my parents, but also what I've seen on TV and what I see in marriage look like. You know what I mean? It's beautiful to see that me as a gay person could find a partner and could find someone to call a life partner, and after 20 years still be madly in love and so supportive of one another. It's a beautiful example, and every time I see them on screen together, it's such a profound thing, because I never actually looked at it from this perspective before. I've never honored their relationship as much as I do now after this TV show, because I understand just how groundbreaking and important the visibility of this is. So I don't know if Kat notices it or looks at it like from that perspective, but I do, and I just want to say, y'all are the girls. I've been rambling about it now for some time, but like, genuinely, like, I thank you guys for being an example, not just to me, but there's literally kids in high school who this will change their lives. You know what I mean? Like, ooh, not me getting emotional. Go on, let me move on. We also get a small little taste of the type of person that Kat is in terms of her mothering skills. Remember in the trailer, in Kat's individual trailer, where she says this?
My mission is just to help. That's what I'm doing right now. And this is what I want to do. I want to share. I'm there right now.
We finally get to see it play out. This is what I meant in last episode as well, when I said that Kat has become such a different person from Glitter Boys and Ganglands, which I hope you motherfuckers started watching. Don't wait for Beulahs every week. You can watch Glitter Boys and Ganglands so long to keep you busy. You know what I mean? Kat from that time, and you compare it to the Kat now, you can see exactly how much she's grown as a person and also as a drag queen. And I just love Kat. I don't know if that's obvious. I'm really not being biased. Like, it's beautiful to watch Kat grow like this. The oh, Kat kan nog meow. You know what I mean? So a vibe. It's very like fitting to say that. And I don't mean Kat is old, but she is. But she's not. But say meow nog. You know what I mean? You can teach an old dog new tricks. And this is the thing. I know we live in a very ageist society where the older you are, the less value you have to the world. But it is another example of how aging is nothing to be scared of as a queer person. It's not like it used to be in the 90s and 80s, where we didn't even live past the age of 30 because of the HIV crisis and all of that stuff. I know it's going a bit deep now. Maybe I shouldn't go that deep, but do you guys understand what I'm saying? It's breaking boundaries, you know? Kat is truly breaking boundaries, and I hope she sees it. Like, maybe I'm just too cerebral about these things. I'm very passionate about being queer and being visibly queer at that. And I just think it's beautiful. I still haven't even read anything here on the thing. Let me just fucking finish this part and we move on because Kat's segment is going on forever. The way Kat is having this conversation with BB regarding what happened at the braai and what to do next and how to go about it. Kat was very forthright, and she was upfront with BB in terms of that wasn't okay and you should put an end to this and things like that. It just shows you what kind of person Kat is to everyone in the scene, because this is the type of advice she would offer any single person who comes to her. I truly think Kat is mother, you know, period. Yeah, I'm just gonna move on. Like, I just fucking love Kat. She's my favorite. Next up, we have the one, the only Madison Scarr. I think this was a good episode for Madison because I think we got to see a little bit more of a vulnerable side to her. We got to see that even though she's like a little bit of a villain and say, you know, she's not scared to say what she wants to say, and maybe she can't say it because she's speaking off the cards. We finally get to see Madison's smarts. And I tell you, Madison's response to BB's shade in episode 1 regarding her not traveling for dance. Madison literally just sat there and just listened to BB's kak. Just sat there. It was just like, okay. And she didn't once argue back about, I went to Hong Kong, whatever. No. She waited till episode 2, bitch. And she pulled out that photo collage and was just like, Hong Kong to gegaan. Gaggy. I was gagged. I was like, this bitch really didn't feel the need to clap back or fight at that braai. Instead, she brings it up in conversation with her aunt. I thought, I don't know if this is how it was edited. I don't know what happened at the braai. I'm seeing this just with you. To me, I was like, what a power move. I was proper gagged. Like proper gagged. I think it shows you that Madison is a little bit more calculated than we thought. You know what I mean? And I'm really, really interested in seeing how this develops. I mean, obviously I was on the other end. I've experienced everything that has been shot, but I've never experienced it from this perspective because, like I said, I'm a very neutral party. That's me. Like, I don't get involved with drama. I don't enjoy drama. I don't welcome it in my space or in my life. So to see it play out in this way, I'm really eager to see just how the chess pieces are being played, because I truly feel like that's what's happening right before my motherfucking eyes. We also get a little bit of a taste of Madison's personal life with the introduction of her Aunt Robin. And I thought it was so cute that the two of them were discussing me with my big lilac hair, which was actually this performance, I think. I thought that was so cute because I genuinely did not know that Madison had this perception of me, that she thought I was a cool person, or that she thought that out of everyone, I could be the one person that she would become friends with. I genuinely did not know this. I didn't expect this because none of us knew Madison. It's 100%. I can't believe some of you still think that this is scripted. Like, let's start there because that's wild to me. Like, it's so beautiful just watching this play out. Like, I'm such a fucking fan of the show. I can't even tell you how many times I've watched episode 2, by the way. But we learn a little bit about Robin and her struggle with substance abuse. And we can see that Madison and Robin are actually very good friends. They have a very good relationship. And I would like to see that develop a little bit more as the show progresses. Because I think it's a very sweet relationship to see. Next up, the GOAT herself, Miss Manila Von Teez. I have a very special moment with Manila and her mother this week. Hashtag enjoy your leg. Manila's relationship with her family has not always been kumbaya, you know what I mean? Seen this in SS's Got Talent, she spoke about it. She spoke about it many times before in other interviews. Like, she was actually thrown out of her house because she was gay. It's beautiful just to see how far the family healing has come, that the two of them can sit down and have this open conversation about the fact that Manila's mother found out she was doing drag from a newspaper article. That's bizarre to me. And her mother openly admits, like, she took all the newspapers away because she didn't want anyone else to see. Like, this is some Hollywood shit, bitch. I understand the feelings of rejection that she spoke about because it is a very tough thing to kind of think of, you know? I actually met Manila's mother before, and she's a sweet little lady. Manila's family is just sweet overall. This moment touches me so deeply because it's beautiful to just watch Manila sit there and engage with a person who at one point in her life she felt truly didn't love her and disregarded her, and now she can gladly say that her mother is very supportive and she has this opportunity to share this journey with her mother. And just beautiful stories coming out of the show. Hey, I understand how very few people have their mother's approval, or who do not have that kind of connection with their mother. I know I spoke to David today, and I know David's watching all the way from the USA. David also spoke about him not necessarily receiving that kind of love and support and that feeling of I'm proud of you from his mother. And it's just such a, you really take these moments to heart, having go through episodes in your life like that, you know what I mean? And I'm just so happy again to just see this. It's like, guys, I can't explain. I might be biased because I'm on the show and I know it's just, this show is fucking good. Like, objectively, Beaulah Queens van die Kaap is a great fucking show. We have never seen queer stories told like this. We have never seen queer stories celebrated like this. It is amazing to be alive and be queer at this moment in time. I'm so happy for both of them, having worked on the relationship over many years, and to see it flourish and be so supportive and beautiful. I can't say much more. We touch on Manila's feelings of not necessarily being accepted, but at the same time we see a mother that's so proud of their son and their achievements, and just, you know, can we give the show a SAFTA already? I just want to hug Manila, and I just want to hug her mother as well. I just want to hug them both and just hold them close and say, this is beautiful. It just goes to show, like, I know there are kids out there watching this and who seek the same type of affirmation or relationship with their mothers, and we can get into a topic of chosen family another day, but nothing like a mother's approval is ever going to, nothing will fill that void, you know what I mean? I wish all parents would look at this as an example of just how important it is to love your children and to take the time to understand your child and give your child the time to understand themselves, because coming out as a gay person or a queer person in general, it takes a lot of personal conversations. You are in your head for years and years, and when you finally feel comfortable to step out and say, hey, this is who I am, it is not because you are an established person. You are now reborn and able to take that step to discover who you are. So you have to be patient with yourself as well as your family, and vice versa. I truly feel like parents should watch the show and see the beauty of love amongst family, regardless of what may tear it apart at some points, you know what I mean? All it takes is to give love a chance, and to give your child a chance to be loved, and to give yourself a chance to love your child. It takes time, it takes a lot of patience, it takes a lot of conversation, but there is hope. There's an example of these things being overcome, and I'm so happy again that the show is showcasing that. I can't stop speaking about how beautiful the show is. Like, I'm basically obsessed. All we want is the love of our parents, and I'm just happy for this moment because it's beyond Manila. It's beyond Manila's mom. This is for those of you out there struggling to develop these kinds of relationships and connections with your parents. There's hope. There will always be hope. And if there's no more hope, there's faith, you know? And I just want everyone to hold on to that. And those of you who watch this show and are going through a similar situation, just know that you are loved, and there are people who love you, and you don't have to go through all of this alone. And yeah, I've got an extra couch if need be. You know, we get through it together, you know? Love yourself. And yeah, that was a beautiful moment. I just went completely off script. But that was basically the point of Manila's segment. So I'm just going to go ahead and continue with the next contestant, as I usually say. Next up, we have the one, the only Maxine Wild. Finally! I thought it wasn't going to happen. We finally got a little bit more of a vulnerable moment with Maxine. We see her stepping into the role of drag mother more than just, you know, drag cartel director, co-director, whatever the case may be. We actually see Maxine being a shoulder for Emogan in this episode. Maxine is a very intimidating person. She's beautiful, you know what I mean? And it's nice to see a vulnerable side of her. I love that she's wearing her natural hair out. The show is changing things for everyone. We see the relationship between Emogan and Maxine really well in this episode, and I like how she relates her story to Emogan's and how they share about the experiences with their fathers. We find out in this episode that Maxine also doesn't necessarily have a great relationship with her father, but she also says that she hopes that there is a development to build on the relationship that she has with her father and to bring them closer. You know, we just spoke about Manila's mother, but fathers is just as much of a topic in the queer community and just as much of a little, you know, I don't know how to call it, but like, you know, it's just fathers are just as important for us in our lives. We find out that Maxine's father actually does know that she does drag and that she's trans and things, and I actually think that I was at the show where Maxine's father was there for the first time, and I believe it was at the Roxy Review probably about 2 years ago, and I actually met her father as well. And can I say something about Maxine's father? Maxine's father's fine. I really truly appreciate seeing this side of Maxine, because this is the Maxine that I know. So I'm happy that it is on full display for the world to see, because I understand Maxine's character can be very intimidating and can be very hard to approach, but I think that it is beautiful to see that Maxine is a very soft person outside of all of the lashes, you know? I really would like to see her delve a little bit into more of her family, you know, maybe see her a dad on screen with her, or maybe see an interaction with her and a mother. I don't know if that's gonna happen, but I would love to see that. But I'm glad that we got the start of Maxine becoming a little bit more, you know, a little more of a jelly bean and a little bit soft and a little bit more cuddly. So I'm very happy to see just where her story goes, because I was so afraid that it was just gonna be cartel and drag related, and I'm happy to see that it's not. So props to you, Maxine, once again. I mean, who do you think is next? Me. Duh. I think who the fuck is driving around 11 o'clock at night? I think the best thing I saw of myself also this episode was probably my relationship with Manila. Two of us are very comfortable around one another. And we really are that cuckoo and crazy around one another. Eh? Like sometimes we really, dare I say, abuse one another by the way we laugh, like, and it's just like, it's always a fun time around Manila. And this is just genuinely a good friendship between Manila and myself, and I'm happy to see it on display. Now, I've been saying a lot, I'm happy to see this on display, but you know what I mean? It's just like it's nice to see two guys be friends. I don't know if this is elaborated on in the show, but I'm just gonna touch on it. When I came up in the scene, I was compared so much to Manila. For me to now be like damn near best friends with her is something I never expected to happen, you know? And I just value my friendship with Manila a lot because of moments like this. Like, I can just be myself around her and we can just laugh, we can have a good time, and I think it's beautiful. I also think you got a good taste of my sense of humor. I'm stupid, nothing is too serious for me. I truly am a goofball, and my name says it all. Like, inappropriate. Who the fuck thinks of that? You can also get to see how I engage with some of the other cast members, because I truly am not someone that seeks out drama. No. I just have too much shit going on in my own life to focus on drama. And whenever I feel tension coming up, I kind of like take myself away from it. Or if it involves me, I address it immediately. I know what happens if I don't, you know? I don't like festering, I don't like harboring. I've spent too many years of my life doing that. So when anything bothers me nowadays, trust and believe, I will go up to you in person and I will be like, excuse me, can we talk just for a second? I've learned that over the past year and a half, 2 years. I've learned how to do that respectfully. And here we see it. on display. Oh, I'm so fucking proud of myself, you know? In terms of the content of the episode, you can see how I get Manila them side of it. It's kiki, as scree, as drama, as shade, it's fun. Let's just be honest, it's entertaining. We all endorse shade and drama. You can tell that I'm someone that I would like to get both sides of the story before I make my decision on how I approach it, especially when it's not my drama, but I am involved, which is exactly what's going on in this case. And I'm glad that I was able to take myself away from the shade of it all and put myself in Madison's shoes and say, you know what, I actually want to hear what you have to say about this and how do you feel about this, because it's important for me to do that. My interaction with Madison was actually, I've rewinded it so many times. It's such a beautiful, pure interaction. Really glad that she felt she can confide in me, because that truly was one of my first proper engagements with Madison ever. We obviously spoke a little bit longer than they showed on TV, but I think the core of the entire interaction was that I was there to listen to her and to hear what she had to say, and just be honest with her about anything and everything. I truly think this moment with the two of us sitting here at the rink, it was just a beautiful moment, because we shared a lot of vulnerable things with one another. Really shared openly with one another that day, and she confided in me a lot more than what was shown. But I truly walked away, as I said, feeling still a little bit cold, because I could tell that even though this was such an open engagement, that Madison still had a guard up with me. And that's why I said it's cute for the taste but not for the swallow, because I didn't know what would happen once we walk out of that rink, you know? I'm just very proud of myself for how I engage with people and how I interact with people. And yeah, you know, I'm proud of myself. I'm not going to talk too much about myself, because I don't know even how much I gave away now. But yeah, I'm very happy with this episode. And can we just say, this was my episode, bitch. The amount of diaries with me. And also, I'm so grateful that no one pointed out the 8th cast member on my fucking cheek, because that pimple was bothering me, sis. Like, why did I not put a plaster or something on it beforehand? My God. Let's see if I can get this needle in my mouth. Oh, you puss. Got it. So now that we've done the character summaries and we've figured out how everyone's story is growing and where they're going and what direction they're headed, let's talk about the drama and let's talk about the show itself. Excuse me if I'm looking down. I just want to get through this as quick as possible and go sleep. So excuse me if I'm reading a lot more in this one. But we open up with Kat and Errol discussing the braai, and Kat mentions that she doesn't really want to speak about it because she felt that as a circle, the circle burnt a little bit, because we all are, a group of people. And Kat felt that she didn't really like when Madison said that she didn't want to get to know us, and she feels that she wants to speak to Madison about that. She didn't feel that that was very okay to say. Bibi comes over to Kat and to get some advice for the pageant, and she's hoping that Kat can alleviate some of her anxieties with a word of advice here and there. Kat reassures us that those feelings are not in vain and they are very normal for pageantry, but she should be more focused on getting to the top 5 and, not necessarily worrying about the other things. Her goal should now be to get to the top 5. Kat also brings up the braai with Bibi and says that she didn't expect Bibi to respond or react in the way that she did, and she expected that more from Manila or Jada or, the other girls. And Kat really wants to find out from Bibi where that came from, where did that angle come from, because she feels that Bibi actually prepared to have this fight with Madison. Bibi says that she did not prepare anything, and she actually came to address Madison about an issue that she had with her, and she actually wanted to hear her out. Kat also brings up that Madison saying that she didn't really want to get to know any of us is very weird for her to understand, considering that we all work in the same industry and that we cannot necessarily move forward in the industry without building solid relationships with one another. So it made no sense to Kat that Madison would say such a thing. Kat then advises Bibi to end the situation with Madison, and Bibi says that she'd rather Madison approach her because she is very focused on the pageant rather than this drama. Next we move on to Manila's place, where Ina is coming over for a fitting for a gown, because I too am a contestant in the Miss Sovereign Western Cape pageant. Wow. Manila then uses this time to inform Ina about what she missed out on at the braai, which was a whole kiki girl, and Manila is giving it to you in Manila fashion retell. That's literally how she tells stories. Ina thinks that the drama is all boring, and honestly she doesn't want to be involved. But she is shocked to find out about the old host situation being brought up, and that Errol was also in the firing line. Ina is interested to find out what Jada said and what Jada did, because Jada is actually the one who has beef with Madison, and is surprised to hear that Jada actually did nothing. Ina feels that can I just call myself me? I feel that the best way to resolve the situation is to actually speak to Madison herself to find out how she genuinely feels about it, considering that I wasn't there and I'm probably the only one that doesn't have any wrong feelings with Madison at this point. We have a moment where Manila calls Kat to find out how she's feeling after the braai situation, and they once again make a hoo-ha about how shady BB was, because it was kind of entertaining, let's just be honest. I also put forward to the group that maybe I'm the one who should go ahead and speak to Madison, considering I'm the neutral party, and BB agrees. And we finally find out who the fuck was at the pageant director's house. It was BB, okay? What the fuck are you doing there? Manila then invites Kat to her show at Beefcakes that night, but Kat thinks she's gonna think about it, you know, because she's not sure if she's ready for round 2 of what happened at the braai. We move on to BB and her jog with Didi. The two of them are also discussing the situation with Madison, and BB asserts that she's more focused on the pageant, but Didi persists to ask how she feels about it. And BB feels that she approached Madison reasonably, but when Madison told her to shut up, it's when she got upset and things went left. Because of that, she is really doubtful of whether or not she wants to go and support Manila at a show that night, considering that she's not ready to be around Madison just yet. We then go over to Madison, who is packing for a gig in the Karoo, and we get a nice interaction with Madison and Robin, her aunt. I then send Madison an invitation to ask if she would like to go skating with me, and Madison accepts and is very excited to go. Next, we join Emogan and Maxine at Honey and Daughter, where they are scouting for a venue for their upcoming brunch. Also having a personal discussion about the relationships with their fathers. They briefly touch on the braai, with Maxine saying that she really enjoyed herself, because it's not often that the girls get to be around one another, but she was shocked by the way things unfolded. Switch back over to Madison, who's discussing the events of the braai with her auntie, and she explains that she apologized to everyone except Jada, who she feels doesn't deserve an apology. She also once again proves BB wrong by bringing up that she in fact has been overseas. Hong Kong toe gegaan. I can't stop saying it. Hong Kong toe gegaan. Madison's Afrikaans is so endearing. She also reiterates her suspicion of BB and her family by calling them scholars in makeup. When I tell you scholars in makeup had me done, I was luluing. We go back to Emogan and Maxine, who are discussing the relationship with their fathers, and Emogan feels it would be best to first explain to her father what it is that she does with drag. I forgot to mention that this is my previous one, but Emogan's said something also about how drag or dressing up as a female, cross-dressing for example, is something that's looked negatively upon, specifically colored culture, as something dirty, and she feels the best way to introduce her father to the fact that this is her career and this is what she does is to first have the conversation with her father and then inviting him to a show to see what she does. Maxine agrees that this would be the better option, and to be honest, I agree as well. We are now at Rollercade, where Ina is waiting for Madison, and we get this super cringy motherfucking b-roll of me skating. Oh my god. Madison feels that the skating is a good idea because she truly feels that Ina is the only person that she could probably become friends with after everything. So as we start skating, I immediately bring up the braai, and I'm just like, hey, what happened? What's your side of the story, sis? I'm coming to you yourself. Madison admits that she's had a guard up around everyone, and Ina agrees. And I said that it's almost like I'm speaking to myself, because in many ways I can be defensive as well. Not necessarily defensive, but guarded. I'm more keen to protect myself than I am anyone else. Madison speaks about how BB started shading, and she feels that she was defensive around everyone because no matter how much the girls do not get along with one another, there's always going to be someone who has their backs, and she feels that she doesn't necessarily have that type of relationship with anyone else, so she has no choice but to go into her guard and be defensive when people say things. Ina feels that she cannot necessarily, I'm gonna confuse everyone with the Ina and I. Okay, let me just say Ina, you know, for the sake of. Ina states that she feels Madison has walked in with a competitive energy towards the girls and explains that she gets it, but this is not necessarily how the drag scene works. She says that she relates to Madison in many ways, but she feels that a good idea would be to gather the girls one more time and rather celebrate what we all have in common, which is drag. It states that we can all relate to drag as something that we all share, and we should rather spend time celebrating each other for participating in an art form instead of fighting over personal grievances we may have one another, because in essence we don't necessarily have to get along, but we are a bunch of professionals in the same industry, and we should be able to have cordial relationships with one another without having it end up in a massive fight whenever we do come together. Ina and Madison feels the best idea would be to go ahead and plan a ball for the girls, even though Ina is still a little bit apprehensive of Madison. We then go over to Manila, who is arriving at Beefcakes for her show, and we get a beautiful scene with Manila and her mother. They discuss coming out for Manila and have a cute moment where we truly see a mother and son who are both happy to have a relationship they have regardless of the past experiences. We get the most cutest thing ever, which is me and Manila told each other this whole weekend, which was enjoy your leg. That's the new break a leg for everyone who wants to know. We get some beautiful shots of Manila at Beefcakes, and we can see examples of just how supportive the girls can be of one another when it comes to something that we all enjoy and love at the end of the day. Also, I just have to give myself a shout out for wearing my Salon Cupid shirt. Come on, come on. We also have a little fun moment with Emogan making fun of Manila's wig, because honestly, we were all thinking it. We also get a lovely snippet of Manila's single Come For Me, available on all streaming platforms. Go check it out. Biggest thing we get to see is the hustle and bustle of how a show goes behind the scenes. It can be quite chaotic at Beefcakes, trust me. Shout out to Tia Black, who is also involved in the creation of Manila's single. And also shout out to Grant Walder Jacobs, who is the man behind the YouTube channel King of Queens, a YouTube channel with a bunch of content from the drag performers here in the city. And also a lot of pageants are also on that platform, so please go ahead and check out the King of Queens YouTube channel, and I've linked it below in the description so that you can have a field day. There's enough content for you to binge for days between episodes of Beaulah. Manila enjoys all the girls, and we have a moment where they all cheers in celebration of a good show. It is clear, however, that there is some tension at the table between Kat and Maxine. Kat then politely asks Maxine to join her at the bar to discuss an issue that she has, and they leave us with a cliffhanger in preparation for the next episode. That's the end of the episode, and honestly, this is my favorite episode so far. I've probably watched this about 12 times, I'm not lying. And mainly because I'm literally almost everywhere. I'm so glad that I got my redemption from episode 1. I was everywhere in this episode. But we are now clear on where everyone stands about the bra, and we have potentially have a way of resolving all of that with the ball that's coming up. But we also have a new point of tension, as things usually go with drag queens. The drama just never ends. I can't wait to see how this turns out. You know what I mean? So here we go. This is this week's shoutouts. Let's get straight into it. Shout out to Miss Boss Lady. I don't think I actually captured the entire comment, but yeah, you watch this shit with your family. Goddamn. Some of us have families. Shout out to Kesha Vero. Thank you for calling me your favorite. It's so weird. Don't have favorites. It's weird. But have me as your favorite. I'm probably the better option. Shout out to Courtney, Glamorous and Girly. Girl, when are we making a Beaulah set for me? You know what I mean? Check out her page. She's amazing. She's done my nails. She did my nails for the pageant that's coming up. Like, she's the girl. Go and follow her. Check out her work. She's good. And I agree. 1 episode a week is actually a lot. Like, a week is a very long time. Shout out to Art, Nature, Animals, and Poetry. This ma'am has been posting since day 1 about how much she loves the show. Thank you so much for your kind words. I truly appreciate it. And yeah, I truly was in the mirror, staring at myself while Manila was talking to me. I've never had a House of Vion garment made before. Like, why are you talking? Let me take this in. Shout out once again to Blondie the boy, who is always going to comment. I'm sure this man is obsessed with the drag queens in Cape Town. We appreciate your support, and we love seeing you at the gigs. Shout out to you. Shout out to Shauna J. Am I saying that right? Is it Shauna? Because I had a girl in high school. Her name was Shauna, and there was another girl, Shayna, and their names were spelled exactly the same. But they would always fight on whose pronunciation was the correct one. You know? What did you comment? Thank you for calling me real, babes. Like, there's no pretenses here with me. What you see is what you get. You saw my pimple. Shout out to Jan. Wait, is it Jan? Jana. My juffrou Snyman. / Van der Merwe. Miss Ma'am, I appreciate the love, I appreciate the support, and welcome to this side of the world. It's a fun time here, isn't it? I'm a bitch cuckoo, and that's why usually cuckoo people like cuckoo people. So, welcome! Shout out to Tall Boy. Listen, that roller skating scene was my favorite one, if I'm gonna be truthfully honest. Shout out to Miss Bootley. Oh my god, bitch. Hashtag neutral. Isn't that the irony of it all, that I'm the most appropriate one out of everyone? Shout out to Crystal, who says she's cock excited. Girl, you and I are both cock excited. Yeah, those were the shoutouts of this week. I don't know what format or how I'm gonna continue giving these shoutouts, because I truly feel like this might become a stagnant thing. But going forward, I'm gonna choose my top 3 comments of the week and maybe my top 3 questions, and then we can handle that per episode, just so that we don't make this segment longer than it should be. But I truly appreciate everyone's comments, no matter how short or long. I truly appreciate it. I will try my best to respond on Instagram, but furthermore, please keep the comments coming in. Mwah! And who knows, maybe you could get a shout out next week, you know what I mean? So right guys, that's all from me on this week's episode of my recaps of Beaulah Queens van die Kaap. Please follow me on my social medias. I am trying my best to be more proactive and active on there. I've also once again listed all of the cast members' Instagram handles right here on the screen, and it's also available in the description below in the video. Go ahead, share the love, share your support, follow us, see what we are doing, go to our gigs, support our small businesses, just do anything you can to support the girls. This episode has been a great one, and thank you so much for watching. Don't just watch, don't just comment, subscribe, also click that button so that I can start getting paid for this shit here on YouTube, you know what I mean? Please try and get me to 1,000 subscribers. I would love it. We should aim small and do 500 first, but fuck it, I play big balls. So let's go for 1,000 one time. I just want to make some few technical announcements. Like, I know the lighting is something that I still need to work on my YouTube, but you saw my setup earlier. My ring light is busted, like it only has the warm settings, which I hate. So that's why it's not always as bright, but please go ahead and give me any suggestions to how to make this experience a little bit better for you. New episodes of Beaulah Queens van die Kaap are out every single Thursday on SHOWMAX, which will be tomorrow. So please don't forget to get your subscriptions. And yeah, Max Scooby. Ons wag. Bye!